Catus, Maximus here. This time with another video about KAL tool. I just wanted to do separate tool videos about the T-handle breaker bar KAL that I just did in the previous video, and the speed wrench. And inevitably, when I do speed wrench videos, there's several people who are like, think they're ancient. Why would you use a speed wrench? They're huge, really long. This thing's like 16 inches long from tip to tip. And then there are certain industries, a lot of people, especially in assembly, where you just may use a speed wrench, especially when you are in areas where you have to do assembly or disassembly. Cordless tools have pretty much taken over, but some people like the feel of a hand tool, and the nice thing about one of these is that you get a lot of reach. It can be much more ergonomic, and you don't have to deal with extensions or anything like this. This is another one of the KAL USA. This is a 1280. The previous tool is a 1285. This is another American-made tool, and I was noticing about the previous KALs, it was okay, but only average quality. Don't know much about the company and really where their tools are sold at. I don't run into them very often, but they had manufacturing in the United States, in the Korea, as well as Japan. I picked up a couple Japanese extensions along with this. And so these were generally, I think they were like, some kind of auto shop sold, or maybe government contract. It runs pretty smooth, but there are some thing quality issues, and that's the thing. Even the American-made KALs and the Japanese ones, they're always built to a price. They certainly weren't Snap-on. They actually, in most cases, were lower quality than Craftsman. Now, I complained about the ball detent not being properly stamped, or the stamping not being centered in that previous T-handle. We have the same issue on this speed wrench, where you can see that the stamping is way offset. Well, the other issue here is there's another consistency issue. You can see that lip. You can see how deep that stamp is. Look at that. It is so deep that it barely prevents the ball, or barely allows the ball bearing to protrude. It does still hold on the sockets, and it works reasonably well, but it's, out of all hand tool manufacturing, making sure that you get the ball detent retained just right is actually a big deal, because it's the difference between the ball wanting to pop out because it hasn't been swaged enough, or in a situation like this where you almost have overstamped it to the point where the ball detent actually won't retain anything. Another evidence of, I find something unique here, is like on this, if we look, if I swing this around, there's the pin. So what they've done is they've machined this collar, machined a little undercut, and then they drilled a hole in the handle, drilled a hole in this, and then pushed in the pin, and that's how they retain the handle. And apparently drilling a hole in this, drilling a hole in the handle and inserting the pin was cheaper than what would be considered most halfway decent speed wrenches. What they do is they make a little undercut, and then they put on the handle, and then they actually swage it, where they use some kind of metal or some kind of rollers that actually squeeze the tip of the handle down in order to get it to retain, and it just provides a nice smooth finish. This happens to be, what is it? This is an old American-made Craftsman here. Another thing that we can see is they attempted to put knurling on it, but what you can see here is that the knurling is really bad. There's some kind of leading issue where it's running over the top of itself. This can also happen because this is probably roller knurled, which is two different angled wheels that are kind of like this, and then it's pressed against them, and as you roll it, the wheels kind of press in the knurling. And if those are off-center really badly, you can also get this effect. So it's an attempt at knurling, but it just ended up providing kind of like a grip tape type finish. To give you an idea, we'll take a look at this Craftsman. See all those beautiful little pyramids? That's what a proper knurl looks like. Anyway, just want to share another little video about this KAL speed wrench, provide a couple examples of American-made KAL tools and how they were basically budget tools and weren't particularly great. If you're like me and you find tools like this for really cheap, a few bucks, they're worth picking up if you don't have one, or maybe if you are a tool collector. Otherwise, if you're hunting for tools, there's certainly lots of other brands, New Britain, Pencraft, Powercraft, Montgomery Ward's old premium brand, lots of other brands, Craftsman's. They're going to be a lot better for your dollar than old KALs. Just wanted to share that with you all. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.